Podcasting 101 with me, your host, Rachel. This podcast is for female business owners and solopreneurs that are looking to start a podcast that adds to your own already awesome offering. I'll give you helpful advice that you can take away and use in your podcasting journey. I hope to answer those tricky questions that just keep you from starting. Once a month, I'll be joined by other female podcasters. They'll share their journey with you and offer tips and advice they discovered along the way. Let's get started. Hi, and welcome back after my little summer break. I hope you guys have had a good summer too. It felt really good to just switch off and not really do a lot. Obviously doing lots with the kids and having a lovely holiday, but work-wise, I felt it really refreshing just to kind of put it to one side for the summer and try and enjoy being on holiday. But I'm excited to get back and get into this episode, which is all about launching your podcast. If you're ready to launch, then you will have done all your planning and prep beforehand. If you're listening to this and you're not quite ready to launch, then I have done some episodes that will help you get there. For example, there's episode 2, which is what's stopping you from starting your podcast. Episode 7, how do I plan my podcast? Episodes 9, 10 and 11 talk about recording, editing and publishing your podcast. So have a little look back through my previous episodes and see if there's any there that can help you. Also listen to some of my amazing guests. You know, they really know what it's like to set up a podcast and the insights are really, really helpful. So I'd recommend just having a little listen to those. Okay, so launching. Once you have a launch date, I would recommend that you work backwards to plan your marketing campaign. I would say at least 2 weeks, ideally 4 weeks to when you want to launch. You would have your episodes pre-recorded that you want to launch with. So you would need to plan a mixture of posts for social media. So audiograms, video clips of them, of the episodes, you know, video clips if you have them, if you're doing a video podcast as well, or if you fancy just perhaps maybe recording your first couple of episodes, then you could use that for extra visual content. I would put them into a trailer as well, have a trailer. The audiograms can act as a trailer. Record a video if you're comfortable doing that, announcing your podcast, or go live on Instagram or Facebook. If you have a Facebook group, this would be a really great place to go live and to tell them all about your upcoming podcast. You need to decide on your podcast branding and design some graphics. I mean, I use Canva. Canva is a very popular, easy to use tool. You can either get it on the free version, as I've said before, or you can get a pro version for a very reasonable price of, I think it's about £99 for the year. Well worth it, in my opinion. I'll put a link to Canva in the show notes as well, if you have not heard of it. Listen through the episodes, pick some quotes that will resonate with your audience. These are really great to share to get everybody interested in what you have to say. I would also recommend that you schedule these posts. This just makes it easier to plan. So you're looking 4 weeks ahead. A lot of social media plans, you can plan more than that ahead. So you can make sure they're scheduled. I use a mixture of Meta Business Suite for Instagram and Facebook and Buffer. I use the free version of Buffer. You can have 3 channels on there. I found that when I want to post to Instagram from Buffer, it doesn't always work. So I've had some posts not be posted. So I actually prefer to use the Meta Business Suite. You can also, this makes it easier as well because you can do the mentions. So if you've got guests coming on or you want to mention a company or anything like that, you can do that on the Meta Suite. Whereas with Buffer, it doesn't do any mentions. I think it's just started to do business page mentions, but it doesn't do anything else. So you have to go back in and amend your post. I mean, you have to do that for LinkedIn if you've got to recommend a guest. Buffer, if you're listening, I would love you to update that, because that would be super handy if you could do mentions and schedule to LinkedIn. Meta, you can access through a browser. Also, there's an app for it now, which can be really handy if you're on the go. You should have access to this when you did your business page, or it'll just come up in the menu options. If you have an email list, utilize it, keep your audience up to date, tease them with the trailers and information on guests or the topics that you're going to be talking about. I mean, like, basically tell everybody that you're having a podcast, that you have your upcoming podcast. I mean, Facebook-wise, I do have a Facebook page for my podcast, but it's kind of mainly as a shop front, really, because I have it linked with my Instagram. I mean, LinkedIn is where I mainly hang out, but it's beneficial to use Facebook if you don't already. It's a great way to let family and friends know as well. You can post it to your personal page there if you have a personal account. You know, you never know who might want to listen or be interested in what you have to say. And I think that it's really important to tell everybody about it. So I mentioned this a little bit before about launching with 3 or 4 episodes. So I've done a bit of research on this, and I mean, there are some valuable points for and against it. So you could launch with your trailer, which you would release before as a teaser, and 3 episodes. This is a way, like, once people are listening and they love it, obviously, they can binge a few episodes. That would be handy to help solidify your audience and what you have to say. And this is how I chose to launch this podcast. That's what I did. I then went into weekly promotions for my podcast. So every week I promote my podcast and let people know when an episode is out and what it's about, and try and create some other social media posts to create engagement around the subject that I'm talking about. What you mustn't forget to do, which I nearly did, is promote the episodes that are launched all together. So if you're launching with 3 episodes, just make sure you promote all 3 of those episodes, because it's easy to then get into the weekly promotion of your podcast, but then you haven't promoted all 3 episodes. So I would just make sure you tease clips of all 3 episodes as part of your pre-launch promotion. Or you can launch with a trailer and 1 episode. When I did my first podcast, this is what I did. I didn't know at that time that there was a recommendation to launch with more than 1 episode. So I did a trailer. I don't even know if I did a trailer, actually, thinking about it. I think I just did an audiogram for it. And when I discovered those, I absolutely loved them. So I did an audiogram, which is kind of like a trailer. And then I released an episode. And then I did weekly, and then it changed to monthly. And I think it just depends on there is research, like I said, for and against, not for and against, but for both these kind of strategies. So I think it's up to you, really, what you would like to do, whether it's possible for you to get those episodes recorded prior to launching, depending on your timescale. So just have a little think about that. There is a way to help create some excitement, is throwing a virtual launch party. Now, I've not done this, but I do know a few people that have done this. It could be a really great way to get everyone excited about the podcast and listening. You could do it in your Facebook group. You could create an Eventbrite link and make it easy for people to join. You don't have to charge for it, depending on, maybe where you are with your business, where you are with your audience, things like that. So, but there's something to think about, and it could work really well. If you have people's phone numbers, then you could do a launch and create a WhatsApp group. I want to give a little shout out to the HR Director's Cut podcast with my wonderful friend, Lisa Tomlinson, Victoria Bond, and Kate Madison Greenwell. They did this for their kind of launch party, got all their I think it was family and friends as well, and close colleagues, to get involved and to like listen to the episode live. Their episode comes out on a Friday at 8:00, I think, and they encourage everyone to get a glass of wine, have a listen, and then do a review. And they are also doing a wonderful thing with their reviews, is for every review that they get, they're going to plant a tree, which I think is a really lovely thing to do and a great way to encourage people to give you reviews. So that was a way that they did it, and I think that worked really well for them. So this is something that you could consider as well. You just need to make sure that you keep engaging with your audience throughout, you know, your podcast promotion, and then when you start, you know, getting into the swing of things, make sure you reply to all your comments, DMs, emails, all of those things. This is key to getting your audience, keeping them engaged. If they're reaching out to you, reach out to them. Right, so there we are. That's my advice and some tips there for you if you're looking to launch a podcast. I hope this episode has helped and you've got something from it. If you have any questions, please get in touch. I love to hear from you. I offer a free 30-minute session. If you're thinking about starting a podcast or you have a podcast already and you have any questions, then please book in a call and we can have a chat about those things. Thanks for listening. Bye. Thanks so much for listening. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please like, share and subscribe. Your support means so much to me. If there's a question or topic you'd like covering, then I'd love to hear from you. Find the podcast on Instagram @Rachie Botfield and drop me a DM. Till next time, bye.